What is good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Foxy. Welcome back to the Fox's Den. Getting into another reaction. I had quite the weekend, so we're catching up on most of the stuff that we went over on the weekend that I missed. Had a good time with some friends, celebrated a buddy's birthday. Had a great time, but now it's time to get into the good new episodes that we've missed over the weekend. First thing first, we're getting into Heavenly Delusion, episode 5. I've been really enjoying this show, man. This show, like I said, it's messing with your mind. You're trying to figure out like what's really going on every episode. You're like, what? These girls aren't showing up on the camera? Are they invisible? Are they related to the man-eater that was invisible? There's man-eater babies? What the fuck is going on? Haruki is actually inside Kiriko's body, and that's Haruki. Like, bro, this show has been crazy, and I think it's turned up ever since episode 3 when we first learned that, you know, Kiriko, the one that we're seeing with Maru, is actually Haruki, and then him trying to find the doc and Robin and figure out what's really going on. And if that's the heaven place is also very confusing, and it seems like, you know, obviously this is a very experimental place and they're testing. It seems like these kids along with man-eaters, and maybe these kids like started out as those man-eater babies and then somehow just kind of grow into a normal looking human, but they have man-eater abilities. That might be a possibility, but then again, we just don't know yet. And the whole thing with Kiriko and Haruki, the doc was apparently experimenting on kids and man-eaters and in studying them. So obviously he had to know of something to be able to do that between Haruki and Kiriko. You know, how he saved Haruki basically, and who knows where Kiriko's consciousness or soul is after that. You know, if it's just completely gone, because where would you put it? Haruki's body was completely fucked up. So, you know, it's very, very intriguing. And I think we slowly but surely will get answers as we go through each episode. And then also just like new things like, damn, what the fuck does this mean? Like, as far as I remember from last episode, we saw mostly the girl, what's her name? I think Tokyo. I think her name's Tokyo. And she was led to the lab with the man-eater babies, and by the other girl that's able to like climb walls and shit. And they weren't picked up on the camera for some reason, but sure enough, they found this place where these babies are, right? But they look like man-eaters, like combination of man-eaters and human babies. So that's very intriguing, and they weren't picked up on the camera at all. So it's like, okay, what's going on there? And at the same time, Tokyo's kind of being very overwhelmed by all the kids like interest and like, you know, heightened interest and just like love and like sex in a way, like as everybody's kind of growing up and in this like weird age where they're going through puberty and like they're experimenting. Like these two girls really like kissing each other, and then there's you know, a bunch of other kids too that are like starting to experiment with this, like the one kid that kind of looks like Mob with the white hair, like he apparently got a photo from Mimihime, but she didn't really send it. According to her, she didn't send him no photo. So that's a very interesting point. Like, okay, so is somebody in this lab like kind of purposely doing these things to see how these kids react? Because obviously, from what we saw in the monitor room, they're paying attention closely to what they're doing and looking out for abnormal behavior, and they're also paying attention to do like what stuff they're doing with each other. Like those two girls, for example, they were curious. They were like, I wonder what made them like kiss each other, because they've never taught them any of this prior behavior. Like they haven't been taught this. So, you know, somehow they found out about it, and this is something that they just enjoy. So it's very intriguing for the researchers or the doctors or whatever. They're like, what made them do this? Because we didn't teach them that. So it's very interesting all around. And you know, I was saying maybe the doc is possibly in this facility since he knows so much about man-eaters and whatnot. So he might actually be here, or he's just still like a freelance like researcher, doctor, whatever, that does his own experiments and his own things. Like, we don't know. But that's pretty much what we saw in like the heaven place last episode, and it ended off basically with that one kid who has that disease that we've seen somebody else have, that apparently was the one that told Haruki like take Maru to heaven. So that's a common thing. It's not only in the lab, but it's also like a thing outside. Like, I don't know what happens, like how you catch this disease or whatever, but it's definitely a vital point in the story, I feel like. And so sure enough, it seems like this kid is like on his last legs, and he wanted to see Tokyo as he was struggling and, you know, probably, you know, having his last moments. He basically told her like, you need to run away. Like, this place is not safe. This place is dangerous. So if he's saying that, shit, that makes the whole thing even more confusing. Like, why is this place so dangerous? I mean, we can get an idea, like they're experimenting on them and whatnot, but I guess maybe that, like, something went wrong with that kid's like experimentation in general, so it could happen to Tokyo, and that's why he's worried about her. I don't know, but that's pretty much where we ended off last episode. And then we didn't get as much screen time with Haruki and Maru, but we did see them defeat that man-eater on the ship. And then they asked the guys that were on the ship, like, hey, do you know anything about this logo? And this one guy was like, yeah, it looks like Matsuba. And then they went to this place, you know, where it looked like the logo was on top of the building, but it looks nothing like it. So I was thinking maybe it is the logo and maybe it's just eroded a little bit, or it's truly like that guy had no idea what he was fucking talking about. So all in all, this show is a very intriguing psychological mind fuck, and I've been loving every episode. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. If you guys enjoy the reaction, please leave a like down below, comment, let me know what you guys think, and subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell so you know when the next one's dropping. Let's get into it. Episode 5, Day of Fate. Okay.
新品持ってきたな。再生できたらこれ1枚で40万だ。ひょ
ー。$400,000. That sounds like a lot. Nope, didn't play.
俺も聞きたかった。
お前この辺のもんじゃねえな。
ここらで遊ぶなら挨拶くらいせえや。
Y'all picking on him for? He's just playing a
好
game.
きな女が実は男だった気持ちわかる？
今そんな話。
And you fucked it up.
こんにちはってなめとんが。
Oh, fuck out of here, bitch. Yo, nah.
今の顔面の一発だけでよかっただろう。
Bro, y'all the one picking on me. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, now I really have the opportunity to whoop all your asses. Go ahead, Maru. The way he punched him was so satisfying. He just said, bitch, back the fuck up. Bro, he about to get to work, bro. He fucking all of them up. Y'all the one decided to pick on a fucking kid because you think he's weak. Oh, yeah, we got this kid we can pick on. We'll fuck him up. Yeah, the fuck out of here, bro. That's what y'all dumbasses get.
お姉ちゃん。
大丈夫かマル。って歯が折れてんじゃん。こら。
そのうち生えてくるよ。
生えねんだよ大人の歯は。よし逃げるぞ。
It seems like he's used to that. So yeah, Maru is special in his own way too. See, this is what I've been thinking about too. Like, we know that each of these kids, or a lot of these kids, have special abilities, and especially the ones in the heaven place. Although some of them, it just seems like they don't. Or maybe it hasn't awoken yet. Because Tokyo, for example, she was looking at the girl climb the wall, and she's like, I can't fucking do that. And then, in this case, Maru, I don't know if he's ever been there. Maybe he's from... Who the fuck knows, bro? Because obviously he has a special ability. Or special traits. That Maru touch ability or whatever, and then I guess he has regenerative abilities too. Like he's used to that. His tooth, he was like, yeah, my tooth will grow back. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Goosebumps every time, bro. The second half of that opening is insane. I love that shit.
俺は大災害と同じ年に生まれた。
Oh, okay. So maybe that explains why he has special
最
abilities.
初の記憶は3歳か4歳。世話して
Wait,
くれる
that's him?
大人もいっぱいいて。それなりに
Bro, he looks mad alike to Tokyo.
7歳の頃、そこが解散したのかな。
But Tokyo's a girl.
多分身寄りがない組だな。別の集団に入れら
But
れて。
they look so
遊び
similar.
なんかしながら3年ほど暮らしたけど、その集団を仕切ってたボスが縄張り争いか何かで殺されて、そこへ三倉さんが来て、俺を引き取って、ヒルコを殺すやり方は。 三倉さんに教わったんだ。
別惚れっぽいわけでもないんだね。
どういう意味だよ。だいたい三倉さんは俺を物でも見るような冷たい目で見てて、大人の後ろをついて回るばかりの人生だったからな。
悟るな。
Don't be dramatic.
特に目新しい情報はなしか。
何回話してもこれ以上出ないよ。
知識は共有するより独占した方が後々金につながる。
Interesting.
あ、それこの町で作ってる新聞。待ってる間に読んでたら？
一緒に行かないの？買い出し。
君は顔が割れてるだろ。が割れてるってのは怪我のことじゃなくて、顔が知られちゃってるってことだ。
から俺が天国に行かないといけないとか。
Okay, so him in that place is definitely connected somehow. He might actually be from there. And it's very odd that he actually looks a lot like fucking Tokyo. So, does that have something to do with, like, okay, I've seen some other, like, I've been watching some other people, like, react to the show, a lot of my favorite reactors, right? They've been thinking, like, there could possibly be, like, clones or something, like, there's clones of each, like, kid, like, in that place, like, outside, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's 2 of each person. But that's kind of weird, because Tokyo is a girl. We know Maru is a boy. So is it more of, like, it has to be a twin thing? Like, that would be weird, right? I don't know.
技術と知識のある人間をさらって回ってる集団がいる。
桑田さんがもう一回差しでやりたいっつってんだ。
あのな、あんた昨日来てなかったからそんなこと言えるんだ。こっちは8人いたのに秒で全滅だぜ。
Yeah, bro, he whooped y'all ass, bro. Y'all shouldn't be looking for him at all. Take the ass beating and go home, dude. Like, go on to the next town, dog.
目的を果たしたら、また僕は一人になるんだ。
So she's trying to keep it in her head, like, okay, I'm not going to be able to keep a relationship with him or even a friendship, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's already preparing her for herself to be alone again. That's probably not what she really wants, or he really wants. They get along really well. Okay, where the fuck did he go? She's starting to panic. She's going crazy. Or he is. God damn it.
立つ本がないかなと思って。ああ、ちょっと見なくていいから。
He found. Yep, I knew it had to have been some fucking like.
それでエロ本使ってたのか。
見てただけ。いや見てもねえし。タイミングが悪ければたまたまいない時が。ごめん、俺が悪かった。
ちょっと。なんか硬いのが当たってる。も
うしょうがねえじゃん途中で。いや何も途中ではないんだけれど。
Oh, yo, it's so funny, bro.
今度はそのロボットに監視される心配してビビってたらしいよ。
Bro, nah, this is crazy, bro. What if this is... See, it's more of an AI thing. We've been getting really into AI right now in our current world.
戦争崩壊説だな。作り話だろ。いかにも偶話的すぎる。
Maybe it's real.
もし、もうすでにどこかで前の文明が復旧しているとしたら。
That's what this place kind of looks like. There's robots around everywhere. Whatever the fuck these little fucking babies are. Oh yes, the footprint. You're gonna notice it. Mm-hmm.
なぜこんなところに足跡が？
That's a good question, man. Why would there one be there? Okay, we jamming, and we dancing. I fuck with it. Is he gonna figure out it's Tokyo?
これは何を？
楽しい音がしたら、タラオが目を覚ますかもって。
そこからここまで放ったんだ。
タラオは力が強いからね。
Okay, so he was special in his own way too. Like he had like really, like amazing strength, inhuman strength. Mm.
17年10月16日。
Seems like they're actually upset about it.
着替えを済ませたら食堂へ行かず広場に集まってください。
Are they actually gonna have like a memorials?
タラオくんが亡くなりました。
Damn. That sucks. Damn, his body looks terrible. It's wild they actually give him the chance to have a memorial service for him and like see him. Like that's basically open casket. Like it makes it very real. Instead of just hearing it, like they see him dead. That's wild.
アスラも同じ病気だったの。
Is Asura someone close to him?
アスラは
そうかもしれない。
He kind of deflected. And it almost looked like she was hanging. Like maybe she actually got rid of him, you know, killed herself. Like she knew more than she was supposed to.
すでに採取しましたので。
子供たちの中から2人目の死者を出してしまいました。
Okay, the second.
アスラの自殺は誰にも予測でき
Okay, it was a suicide, yeah.
精神が耐えかねるような体に産んでしまったんです。過酷な思いをさせてしまいました。生み出したこと自体が我々の罪なのです。アスラの隣にタラオ君のお墓を。
So is Asura like a first generation of whatever these kids are, maybe?
それとも
これまでに病気の正体と治療法を解明してください。
Ooh. Okay. Don't tell me she's next or something.
僕もなのか。どうだい。
What causes disease, though? It's gotta be something.
地図1枚買えるんだ。
水安全度 100%。100%？ 100% 安全な水なんてまさに天国じゃない？
主観的だな。
Hey, that sounds pretty fucking promising, though.
今足音がした。
Who the hell's pulling up?
迷わずこの部屋に来た。
So they know someone's in here.
一人しかいないっぽいし、いざとなれば勝てるでしょ。
Wait, what?
テント村でお嬢さんを見かけてつけさせてもらった。
Oh, it's the guy that was on the ship.
俺をガードしてもらえないか。不滅教団だ。
不滅教団？
Immortal Order?
ああ、いや、そう呼ばれてただけで本当の名前は違うのかもしれないが、人を永遠に生かし続ける医者がいるとかで。
医者？
Ooh, okay. Their interests definitely align here in this case.
いや、行ったことも会ったこともないから、そいつの一部を移植すると強くて死なない人間になれるという話は知ってるか？
その大事そうに持ってる荷物は。
So that sounds like something that might be in Maru's case and all these kids that are in this heaven place.
絶対取るなよ。船に乗る前はこんな風じゃなかったのに。
Why did you just drop it everywhere?
得意の肉はそれを元手にまた探しゃいいじゃん。
So he's interested in becoming immortal or something, or maybe he's like sick or something himself. I don't know.
寄り道させちゃって。
Really is in this world like a huge battle for information. Like everybody knows something else, or like doesn't have the exact. Like they're just like, oh, I think it's called this, or I think this is where we need to go. Strange people. That sounds like the fucking place we need to get to. Oh my god.
一体何なんですか？なんですこれは。
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Bro, it just doesn't stop, dude. What the bro. This shit is crazy, bro. Oh my god. Alrighty guys, what another amazing episode of Heavenly Delusion. As usual, it's a constant battle with your mind, man. I don't know what to think. But, God, let's kind of like backtrack and see where we've been going throughout this episode. Been, you know, kind of caught up with, you know, Hiroki and Maru some more. Basically some, like, group of people or a gang. I don't really know what the fuck their motive was, but Maru was just playing on the arcade machine, and they just come and start, like, picking on him. Like, I guess they thought they could take advantage of him and, like, steal his shit or something because he's young. I don't know. But that was a fucking mistake because he rocked their shit, bro. That first punch he gave that one guy, that shit had me geeking, bro. Nah, that shit was so funny. He said, back the fuck up, bitch. Like, get the fuck out of my face. And then kicked his ass too, bro. But, yeah, he handled that pretty swiftly, and that's where Haruki comes and helps him out. And he lost a tooth from getting punched himself or getting kicked himself by that one guy. When he was actually, you know, kind of trying to apologize for a second. He's like, oh, okay, maybe I did go a little too hard, but, you know, obviously they were just trying to fuck with him and get him to let his guard down, which he did. So he lost a tooth, but apparently he's used to, like, he was like, oh, it'll just grow back. It's straight. So, like, he's special in his own way. So I'm thinking there's so many different ways that we can go about this, like how I was mentioning earlier. Like I've been watching some of my other favorite reactors that I like to watch, like some of these shows. Some of them have been, kind of thinking like, okay, maybe it's like a clone sort of situation, like there's two of each person, one's inside this heaven place and one's outside of the place. And who knows if like Morrow started out in heaven, because he said himself, like he started remembering and having memories around 3 and 4, which is normal in a human being. Like that's like some of my earliest memories is like around like 3-4 years old, like, but before that you don't really remember shit, like you're not conscious enough to remember it. So, and he kind of explains his background, like he kind of like just grew up following some sort of adult and like barely making ends meet and just kind of like surviving off of scraps and constantly moving, following whoever was the leader of this like little group that he was a part of at the time. And that's how he learned how to survive. And he seems like he's always been special in this way, where he has kind of like regenerative abilities. He is able to use this Morrow touch, and it seems the girl that he ended up meeting, I think her name was Miruko, something like that. That's the one that passed away from the same disease that Taro has, who just passed away in the heaven place. She was the one that kind of taught him, I guess, or that's what at least he made it sound like, is that she was the one that kind of taught him how to do that. And that's where Haruki was like, oh, okay, so does she have the Morrow touch too? And he was like, no, it's just me. So he's definitely special in his own way, and it's very similar to the kids that are in this heaven place. And the young version of himself looks really like a lot alike, like almost a 1-in-1 of Tokyo, who's in heaven right now. So is it really a clone thing? Like, okay, so maybe like Morrow was like the first iteration, and then they got like since he was special, like they got like samples from him, and then they created a clone out of him, and then they just raised this clone up in this place? Or is it a thing where like you need to already have like twins or something? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe he's always been a twin, and like one of the twins got taken to this place or something. I don't know. It's very interesting. But then again, it's also interesting because he's special, and he has this ability, and he has these kind of special traits, whereas most of the kids in heaven do too. But Tokyo doesn't seem like she has very many special traits. You know what I'm saying? Like she couldn't climb up that wall. She doesn't have very flexible or strong like physical traits like some of these other kids. Like apparently Taro used to be able to throw a rock fucking far as shit, like a heavy ass rock, and before he got sick. But Tokyo hasn't shown any signs of like special traits, and it seems Morrow and her are very similar. Like they look almost identical, but that's another thing too. It's not an exact clone either, if the clone thing happens to be true, because Tokyo's a girl and then Morrow's a boy. So that whole thing right there is a huge mindfuck. As soon as I saw the younger version of Morrow, I was like, okay, what the fuck? It seems like that could be true, but there's so many other little factors that are making you think like, okay, well, I'm not 100% on that yet. I'm not dead set on that like being the exact case because of all those other facts. Like Tokyo's a girl, Morrow's a boy. We don't know if they were already related or they got a sample from Morrow. Like we don't know. Like we have no clue. So anyways, he explains that and kind of like his background and how he grew up and whatnot, and they're trying to remember if they could think of anything that like leads them to the right place that they're looking for throughout that story. So Haruki like keeps on having him tell it just in case he remembers something, and then they kind of chill in that city for a little while they gather information and other stuff. And sure enough, they found a map. And the map like kind of has someone else's personal like notes all over the map, like, okay, 100% safety water. So like this area where the water is there, it's 100% safe apparently. So I guess there has something to do with the water, where if you like, it could be contaminated, like polluted, I guess, kind of like radiation, but maybe another version of it ever since this collapse or whatever that happened. And basically if you ingest it, or try and you're thirsty and you drink this fucked up water, this might be what causes the disease that these people were getting, like Taro and whatnot. But then again, I feel like it also just could be just whatever they're doing with the experimentations, and even the lab researchers and the doctors in this place, they don't know what the fuck this disease is. There was one other kid that died before Taro, and now Taro's died, so that's 2. We know 2 kids have died, and it seems like Asura, the first kid that died, apparently was close with the kid that Tokyo likes. And it looked like she was hanging, so I was like, damn, did she commit suicide? And sure enough, the researchers like, we couldn't have predicted her suicide. And the director was like, of course we could have. Like, apparently, like, she went through a lot of the first couple trials of like experimentations or like whatever they wanted to test out on these kids and see how they reacted or what they did through them. And it didn't help her out at all. Like, they learned a lot on what not to do to these kids, I think, through that person, Asura, or that kid, because, you know, they probably didn't like hold back and tested a lot of things on him or her. I'm thinking that might be like one of the very first iterations or generations of these kids that they are either made from these man-eater babies or what. Like, we don't really know the exact ins and outs of this thing still. It's being revealed to us slowly but surely. And then also, I think Maru and Haruki were having a conversation where they kind of mentioned a theory on what happened and how this collapse happened, and it's because, you know, humans were making robots and you know, experimenting with them, and it's kind of like what it sounds like to me, like what we're doing right now with AI in the real world. AI is getting really, really advanced and really good, and it can get to a dangerous point where, you know, it starts taking over everything, like jobs, you know, just easy tasks and stuff. It's already writing essays for people. Like, it can do a lot of stuff. There was a really crazy story that I read a couple, I don't know if it was like a month or 2 months ago, something like that, but this guy literally took his dog to a vet. The dog was sick. The vet couldn't figure out what was completely wrong with the dog. And so each time that he went to the vet, he would talk to ChatGPT-4, I think, and talk to it very specifically, because obviously you have to talk to it in a certain way to get it to answer and like actually do what it wants, what you want it to do. And he would basically always say, like, if you were a veterinary professional, and then list off what he wanted to ask it, and then also gave it vital information that it could work off of. So I think in this case, what he used, like, he would ask whatever, like, if you were a veterinary professional, what would be your diagnosis? And then he gave all of the like blood samples, like the blood like levels of the dog, whenever that he received from the vet. And sure enough, like, after a couple times of talking to this thing, it gave him a correct diagnosis to where he could just go and get the medicine that he needed, instead of having to try and have the vet still figure it out when they couldn't figure it out. Like, that is fucking crazy. That is insane. But Haruki didn't seem too convinced on that, so it seems like it's still just like kind of like a conspiracy theory. It's not like dead set that could be what caused this collapse or whatever. But it definitely seems like it has something to do with it, because there's a lot of robots in this heaven place, and then there's that big fucking robot that's like in the middle of the place, I guess. We saw the director talking to it last episode. It's called Mina or something, and I mean, it definitely seems like an AI. It's able to talk and figure things. Like, it's very interesting, bro. But sure enough, I think that's most of what we saw from Haruki and Maru. And the only other thing that I think we saw from them is that guy from the boat came to like ask if like they could, you know, they could protect him and take him to where he wanted to go. Apparently there's a place called like Immortal Order or something. It's apparently a place where you can go to a doctor, and like if you have this man-eater part, then you can, you know, become immortal or something. You know what I'm saying? It'll like fix you up or something like that. So it sounds pretty similar to what the Daka did to Haruki and Kiriko, or some sort of version of it. And it obviously piqued Haruki's interest, because as soon as he said Doc, he was like, is it this guy? And he didn't know for sure. He's never met the dude. And then he pulled whatever he had out, and it seemed like it was decomposing. And so he kind of lost hope there. So who knows if they're even still gonna, like, you know, take him with him. I doubt it. But apparently Haruki's gonna pay him for the information that he has, and then they're probably gonna go look at wherever this place is at, and that might be what they're looking for. And also, but then again, they have a couple other places to look at on the map too, like the place where there's 100% safe water. That could be where the lab or heaven is. And then also there is a place on there where it just said in quotes, strange people, which there's a couple strange people in this fucking place called heaven, so that might also be where it's at. Who knows? But I think that's pretty much the last thing we got with them. And then throughout the heaven place, we kind of saw Taro in his last moments and him eventually dying, and then they had like a little bit of a memorial service for him, and they actually showed the kid, like, it's pretty much an open casket, so they let the kids actually see him dead instead of just saying it. Like, it's way different. Like, you see it for yourself. Like, you have the chance to grieve and have that legit closure about it, which is very hard to do. But it seemed that they had to do it one time before for this Asura kid. And then that's where we got a little bit more of the information on Asura and the suicide, and then the researchers basically kind of listening to the director, like, figure out whatever this disease is. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, come on. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, they actually do feel remorse. It's not like they're, you know, cold about it at all. Like, oh fuck, another one down. Like, you know, on to the next or whatever. Like, they actually feel really bad about it. So it shows that they're humane, at least in some way. And then it looks like Tokyo might be getting sick. And we know Tokyo from this episode looks mad similar to the young version of Maru. So does that, like, I really hope there's not a link or anything between, you know, people that could possibly be clones. If that is, if we are on the right track about that, because if that's the case and Tokyo's getting sick, then Maru might, like, I don't know, bro. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm just trying to brainstorm it. This is what happens when you watch a show. There's no concrete answer for anything until you actually get it through the story. So I'm just constantly brainstorming, like, what the fuck could this do? What the fuck could happen here? Where are we going? Where are we going? What are we doing? So that'd be very intriguing, because it seems like she's getting sick and she's already worried about it. Like, oh my god, am I next? Type thing. Which would be very odd and weird, because we haven't seen her have any special traits or abilities, like we said. Whereas Maru, who looked smack like her when he was younger, has special abilities and whatnot. So it's very, very weird. I think that's about it. Did I miss anything? Oh, right at the end of the episode, like, once they got done cremating TARAO, there seemed to be something left. Like, it was like this fucking, like, egg-looking thing. I don't know. It looked like something of, like, left from a man-eater, and they cremated him, so that thing did not fucking burn to ash. It survived that hot of a flame, where it burns literally everything else, your bones, everything, but that thing stayed. It remained. So who knows what the fuck that is? And this is the first time that they're seeing it too. The doctors and the researchers, they have no idea what it is. So this is a first iteration of whatever this case is with TARAO. So, oh man, I don't know, bro. This show is crazy, dude. It gets you thinking so much. I have no idea what to think. It's a mindfuck. Like I said, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm just brainstorming every little thing that we've seen so far. But yeah, this is a very interesting show. It's very captivating. It really gets your mind thinking. It's so good. So that was another good episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If y'all did, please leave a like down below, comment, subscribe for new, and hit that notification bell so you know when the next one's dropping. I'll see you on the next one. Y'all be good. Deuces.